It is Wednesday. We are wizards. We are also dynamite. It is time for our weekly cult meeting. Wizard Wednesday. This is Elf.
And Dota.
Channeling in from the Quantum Downs. I don't know where Bear Snake is. Oh, wait, there he is. Hi, Bear.
Hello.
Good of you to join us.
I figured I'd stop by.
Okay, we've got a huge day. I'm feeling very chatty today. I've got a lot prepared. But first, just a few housekeeping announcements. We will be represented at Comic-Con in 2 days. That is July 22nd through the 24th. Bear.
No. Tomorrow
Oh, okay.
through Sunday.
Oh, okay.
21st and 24th.
Oh, yeah, that's right. My bad.
You were close.
And then, Bear, we have a booth, right?
We have a booth. We're sharing a booth with Bliss on Tap, who's our comic book publisher. And then every day starting tomorrow, we have a whole street team of really slick-looking, cloaked wizards running around giving away our comic book. And so that's going to be really exciting. If you're going to be at Comic-Con, I'm sure you'll see them. And if you have a badge and actually going in, our booth number is 5533. And on Friday, 11 to 2, Riley Brown, who is the cover artist, will be signing copies of the comic at the booth. So come stop on by.
Riley is so friggin' talented. I don't think we give him enough love and acknowledgement, but I'm so glad he's working with us.
Will you tell the group what's next for us and him?
Well, we're working on issue 1, right?
Yeah, the next one.
Yeah. It's in production. I think actually the script is written. So yeah, the next issue is in production, and I think it'll be given away free as well, right? At least to cult members.
Yeah. I mean, if you're a cult member, you always get goodies. So yeah, definitely get free one. And then and also regarding Riley, he actually just turned in the final ink for the cover of issue number 1, and it looks fantastic. There's going to be some wizards out there that are really excited. They'll be excited to see the cover, so it'll be fun to get it out there.
Yep. Yeah, the cover looks amazing. So that's Comic-Con, and then we another random piece of news is we put okay, so we've got a lot of merch out there now, and this seems so basic, but we finally got a link to merch on our website. So, big news for something seemingly pretty fundamental. But yeah, like our merch store is looking really good, and merch is actually becoming one of my favorite things that we're doing at Magic Machine, because if you think it looks good now, just wait another few months. We've got some really cool stuff coming down the pike. I know, Dota, you're very excited for it.
Oh man, every day I have 3 different ideas for merch. I think having physical representations of anything Forgotten Runes, I love it so much. And I think putting the link on the website really represents a big step forward for us in just this idea of having a persistent merch store. I mean, as much as you see it all the time organizationally, it's a lot involved. Everyone, Locke and Bear and Nalgene, there's so many people kind of involved to sort of designing and putting it up and dealing with inventory and shipping it out. And so, yeah, I think we're just super excited to start building out the designs. I think being able to have these, every design that we create now becomes a permanent idea that can exist in the world, right? And I don't know how many people I've seen who aren't necessarily core cult members that love the quantum style T-shirt. Yes. So I think you can see more like that. And then, apparel is very straightforward. Well, it's not easy, but it's a well-trodden path in terms of merchandising. We have in the laboratory, we're developing some other physical products that are a bit more custom. So stay tuned for those.
Yeah, go ahead, Bear.
Oh, just real fast on the merch stuff, the stuff that's in the store now. I know that there was a mix-up in terms of comic books not getting put in to the order, so that's being rectified and being sent out to everybody that bought. So apologize, but they will be on their way. Just bear with us, pun intended. It's we're doing a lot of stuff over here, and I think every step of the way we'll just get better and better. So anyway, it's everybody will get their comic books.
Yep. Yeah, I was just going to say that quantum style shirt has been traveling far and wide. I'm seeing it really spread. It's one of our coolest pieces of merch, I think. And honestly, the comic book is really spreading far and wide. We're getting a lot of
Yeah.
attention because of the comic book, just in other meetings that we're having.
It's great.
Yeah,
We'll drop off a pile in a meeting that we have, and then have a video chat a couple weeks later, and someone will hold it up who wasn't in that meeting. They're like, "Oh yeah, the team gave me one of your comics," and so it's just amazing to someone who has a relatively clean desk, they have the comic on their desk, and it's just a really good feeling. Products are like a physical memory, it's something like that, and so to be able to have a physical comic is like keeping it in top of mind.
Yep. Yep. So we'll have more fun news about merch in the coming weeks or months, but it's really starting to ramp up. Um, and then I wanted to touch briefly on the Wikipedia. Still one of the best things the cult that's ever happened to the cult. I want to give acknowledgement to Small Protect, who has just been a true Wizzy scribe. The recent entry on the Gate to the Seventh Realm is just fantastic.
I
Did
think
you
that
want
it
to
would
say
be
something, Dota?
great. Well, I just think, yeah, no, go ahead and dig in on that. But I think I can definitely see us doing a highlighting Wikipedia page of the week on Wizard Wednesday because there's just a lot there. But go ahead, talk about the Seventh Realm. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Yeah, no, it's fine. Yeah, and then just last week we mentioned the Eternal Rose page, which is also just beautiful. And I mentioned I wanted to make a few small tweaks to that. I did, and honestly, it didn't take much. You probably won't even notice the tweaks that I made. But yeah, I think it's a pretty good model, which is just start very broad and generalized, and then as the page reads down, then you can get more specific and attach specific wizards and specific lore to it. But yeah, I love the Wikipedia.
Some other folks who have done a great job contributing there would be Matazuki. He's been working on it. I've also seen changes from Give a Hoot, and then also Kel has started putting in some of his Wizard Wednesday notes in there. So he just recently did a page on Wizard Wednesday from I think last week, and yeah, I'm talking to him about maybe being able to do it more on the regular. So yeah, there's just the Wikipedia has been so helpful. We were just talking. I don't think this is a secret. We've been talking to Nifty Island and collaborating with them. I'm sure you've seen the video of our warrior in their game, and they were talking to us saying, "Oh, we needed to we're going to build some custom items for you guys. Do you have any item ideas?" And I literally just sent them the wiki page to the items, and they were like, "Oh, this is incredible! This is so helpful. Yeah, we have tons of ideas here." And so, yeah, it's been really fun. It's been
No,
really fun to see what everyone's writing down.
it's such an incredibly useful tool. I think we mentioned this last week or the week before, but we have so many different cohorts of people working on Runiverse content. We've got the game studio, we got the comic writers, we got the show people, and instead of building a deck about all the lore of the Forgotten Runes and sending it to each person and customizing it for them, it's been so easy to just send Wikipedia pages. Um, and yeah, I mean, it's just such a crucial part of world building.
Well, and Matto just posted that article today in the Secret Tower that was talking about how the Pokemon Company is looking for a Pokemon archivist, and it says the Pokemon Company is looking for an archivist to create the internal Pokemon Company archive and museum. And as the archivist, your job will be to develop a company archive to catalog all the lore, both in game and without. right? And so now Pokemon is like 20 years in, realizing like, oh shoot. I mean, they've done a good job indexing their characters, but they're also recognizing the legitimacy of lore that happens like outside of stuff that they create. And so, yeah, it's just I'm
The,
glad we're getting a head start here.
for sure, they're finally recognizing that lore is at the core.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, this is actually a really good segue into the one big topic I wanted to touch on today, and it's regarding a place in the Runiverse that we rarely talk about, and it's the cave of the Platonic Shadow. So allow me to go on a little bit of a monologue here, but it's actually an extremely relevant place. It's very core to what the entire project of Forgotten Runes is about. Um, and so it's basically a reference to Plato's allegory of the cave. And I'm sure most of you know what that is, but if you don't, just really quick, the basic story is okay, so there's some prisoners that are chained inside of a cave, and they are facing the back wall of the cave, and so they cannot see into the outside world. So the only information these prisoners have of the outside world are the shadows that are projected onto the back wall. Um, and so, since this is the only thing they know of the world, they believe that it's an accurate representation of the world outside. They believe that these shadows are reality itself. And so essentially, this parable is illustrating the difference between a person's idea of reality and reality itself. Okay, so then the prisoners break free of their chains and they escape the cave, and they begin a journey of enlightenment where they learn the truth of the physical three-dimensional world. Um, that's the story simplified in a nutshell. Now, for me, what I really like about this story is their journey towards truth started with a one-dimensional, simple representation of the objects in the real world. Uh, it started with these shadows on the wall, which are essentially runes on the door. The shadow was the creative primitive. Um, and so then as Plato goes on in his career, he develops this really complex theory of forms, and he explores this concept that the physical objects in the world are actually not as real or as truthful as the ideas of these objects. He says to find truth, you must find the non-physical essence of a thing. Okay, so we're looking for the essence of a thing to find truth. Um, and this is the foundation of a philosophical doctrine called essentialism, which is the view that objects have a set of attributes that are necessary to their identity. Now, hopefully, I'm not boring you, but this is where Forgotten Runes comes in. Um, we talk a lot about how our characters are expressed in media. And one big question is, how are we going to keep all these stories aligned? How are we going to define canon? How is this all going to observe continuity, and how are we going to stay true to who these characters are? And so my solution um, is taking a lesson from the cave of the Platonic shadow. It's that we only need to express the essence of everyone's character because that is their truth. The superficial details here and there are not as important to the overarching meta narrative. Yes, those details add flavor and they are super important to the individual stories, but in the meta narrative, and by that I mean the entire lore infrastructure of the game, the comic, the show, etc., uh, we are just looking for the intrinsic essence of these characters. Um, and so, for example, when you look at like the Runiverse game, which is just looking awesome, um, there's going to be a lot of details in that game which might change when the show comes around. But it's the essence of these things that remains constant. So, like the Great Owl Obelisk, for example, the Bisonic team designed this really gorgeous version of the Great Owl Obelisk. It's got this huge owl sculpture at the bottom of it. It looks amazing. Um, but the designers in the show might design it totally differently. Um, but the essence of what the Great Owl Obelisk is, i.e., an obelisk with a connection to an owl, should remain the same. And honestly, this idea goes far beyond Forgotten Runes. I see this in a character in human history, from Zeus to Robin Hood to Wonder Woman to the Ninja Turtles. Like, just the Ninja Turtles, for example. There's like 6 different animated series of the Ninja Turtles. There's like 2 different film canons. There's several comic book series. But in each of these iterations, the essence stays the same, but details are radically changed. There's even origin stories that are changed in these different iterations of the Ninja Turtles. So it's almost like it's more interesting in a way to not just look at the changes, but look at what stays the same. Look at what the essence of all these characters are. It's like the shadow stays the same across all these media expressions. And this is what I can see happening for Forgotten Runes characters. It's like O created a really specific story about his wizard, and maybe that specific story wasn't expressed in the comic, but the essence of Adaptadrian of the Rock is still being expressed in the comic. Um,
Yeah, yeah. I'm also reminded of something that I became aware from the One Who Rings a few months ago, where he shared. There was like, I don't know if you remember, but like Sony Pictures was part of the like WikiLeaks hack years back, and one of the things that came out of it was like a character obligations sheet for Spider-Man.
yep.
And it's like the character integrity obligations, right? So Spider-Man, has to be male. His parents are absent from his life during his childhood. He gains his powers by being bitten by a spider. He designs his first costume, and it's red and blue. There's this list of things that are kind of like specific to what makes Spider-Man Spider-Man, but at the same time, you can like fill in the details outside of that. So it's very interesting to think about, like, what are the character integrity obligations of Matazuki, or the One Who Rings,
Yeah.
Magus Devin.
No, that's exactly right. Yeah. It's the further I dig into this, the more I'm realizing, like, there's way more characters that change than there are the ones that stay like the same details and all. So I'm seeing that Matto actually is mentioning Harley Quinn from Batman. Harley
That's
Quinn is
nuts.
a fascinating case study. What
That's
we have.
You even had Harley Quinn in your notes before he even mentioned it. That's
No,
amazing.
no,
Yeah,
it's great. So yeah, so like
like a mind
let's
reader.
it's yeah, quantum synchronicity, especially from Matto. No, so like, to recap, like Harley Quinn, like, she was totally absent from Batman lore for like the first 50 years. And then just some random writer on the animated TV show put her in as like a side character. And now she's a major character, extremely one of the most popular characters in the whole Batman franchise. And she's got her own films. And I can see like anybody in the cult like having their Harley Quinn just break out. Matto, you just came up. Did you want to say anything?
Oh no, you pretty much had exactly what I was thinking of. That like she started essentially, she just came off as like a side character within the animated series, and then she's had so many different origin stories too. Like the origin story that she has from the anime series, completely different origin stories of like the Suicide Squad film or anything like that.
Yep.
But the essence of her character is still the same. They still keep that. She has her connection with the Joker. Whether she's going out with him or not, they kind of like play around with that concept too. Whether she's like he's her ex or whatever, but they still, like, the core concept of what her character is still resonates, and like you still understand like what they're trying to portray with her character every time she comes up. So even though there's different writers working with her and there's different concepts that they're playing around with, it still doesn't feel like it's not Harley Quinn, because like the writers fully understand the character they're working with, and if they want to take creative liberties with her to express her in a way that they feel works best for the story that they're working with, the character's core like is so strong that it works well with it regardless. So I see that.
Exactly.
Yeah, I see that working with exactly like this. I'm sure that any comics that Magic Machine comes up with, or any comics that anybody in the cult comes up with, they can interpret the same wizards or the same warriors in completely different ways, but they'll, as long as they stay true to the core of like what the concepts are, it will still be recognizable as that character, even if they're like, they're not drawn the same way, or they have a different origin, or they interact with their, maybe they interact with their familiar in a different way. But regardless, you can stick to the same concepts and it'll be still recognizable. And I'm sure everybody will enjoy the stories that come from them.
100%. Yep. Yep. Keep the lore at the core. Another character that's really standing out to me is speaking of Nosferatu, that's who I was just going to mention, but they just requested to speak. I'm going to bring Nosferatu up. Lil Nas, hey.
Yo, no, I was just getting up here because I agree. That's kind of everything that Nosferatu is about too. Is everybody's Nosferatu is all things and all people in all ways. He's, you've seen my anime version. You've seen all the different interpretations.
Yes.
Man, did you guys take a look at Alf's Wizard Wednesday notes or something? We wrote these before this episode started, and in the notes, it is the it's Platonic Cave, Harley Quinn, and Nosferatu in that order. So let's go.
Yeah, quantum synchronicity, I'm telling you. No, let me give my little bit on Nosferatu. I'm so glad you came up. I've just been thinking a lot about Nosferatu for like the past month or so, and like just in no particular order. So here's what I just find so fascinating about it is like, number one, it's already a public domain character, so it's already decentralized in a sense, in that nobody owns him, so everybody owns him and can monetize him. Nosferatu is actually memed from Bram Stoker's Dracula. So like F.W. Murnau, the German expressionist filmmaker, he wanted to do a Dracula film, but he didn't have the IP rights for Dracula at the time, so he mimetically created Nosferatu. And then ironically, 70 years later, in the film Bram Stoker's Dracula, Van Helsing mentions Nosferatu as he's describing the origin of Dracula, as if Nosferatu preceded Dracula. But in a way, that's kind of correct, because the film Dracula comes after the Nosferatu film. And then to bring it full Ouroboros circle, now Dracula himself is public domain. And then okay, so then the Nosferatu Forgotten Runes token is owned by none other than the most notorious meme crew on the internet, Moron Capital. And what they are doing with Nosferatu is quite incredible. I mean, just like look at the PFP right now. That's Lil Nas, okay, based on Nosferatu, and that design is based on one of the oldest memes in modern culture, the Leroy was here meme, which is just freaking amazing. And then furthermore, like any good meme, Moron Capital has made him very irreverent and almost iconoclastic. It's like he's almost self-destructive. He's like destroying the icon of the vampire itself. But the beautiful twist is that a vampire is immortal. You can't kill a vampire. It's undead. So you can't kill a meme. I mean, like the vampire meme is just like ages old already. So it's just, I don't know. I just go through these like twisted minefields as I'm thinking about Lil Nas, and like I just think he's in really good hands right now. You guys are even doing this hilarious like Nosferatu waifu thing. It just looks great.
Hey, while we're talking about that, can I make an announcement real quick?
Yeah, go for it.
Sweet. So starting Monday, we opened the contest. So anybody that wants to submit an anime version of their wizard, you can DM it to the Moron Global Twitter. And at the end of the contest, we're deciding how many certain winners are going to get their design published on our next round of merchandise coming out. And we'll be receiving a portion of whatever we make from it. So artists will be rewarded. A portion is going to go to the House of Wizards DAO. We've got a couple designs already up, and it's freaking awesome.
It is freaking awesome. Just the whole merch line you guys have going, like even that fanny pack, like I I mentioned this in a past Wizard Wednesday, but that fanny pack really spoke to one of the Hollywood people that we were meeting with, and they loved it. I next time we meet them, I need to bring them one. You guys should. I don't know. I'm gonna get one from you to give this guy one, but yeah, just Lil Nas is one of my new favorite characters. So well done. I think Don Juan de Salvia. Hey,
Hey there. Sounds
hey.
like y'all pretty much covered the most of it, but as far as you're talking about the core elements of a character, I was going to say in the research I've been doing for mine, I've been looking into, actually wound up looking into Mesopotamian history, and one of the things you see constantly is like character contradictions almost
Yep.
in some of the gods that they have. Like one in particular, Inanna. They have they've got all the core elements covered, but like y'all were saying, you've got a lot of leeway, and this is some of the oldest characters known to mankind. So I just wanted to throw that little tidbit in there for
No,
everybody.
you're absolutely right. Like Greek mythology, Norse mythology, all these like ancient mythological systems, their own characters have like contradictions in their so-called canons, and just but they preserve the essence of who these characters are through all the stories that they tell. Um, it's really fun and great. But yeah, anyway, there's been a lot of really great cult content this week as well. Unless Doter, Bear, Matto, or anyone has anything else to say on that.
Somehow I missed that there's a little Nas tattoo. I just realized this as I was pouring through their Twitter.
Oh yeah. There's a lot of Lil Nas tattoos going around.
Oh man, amazing.
Yeah, I have no tattoos, but I might get a Lil Nas tattoo.
Oh wow, piercing the veil.
But yeah, let's talk about some cult content.
Let's do it.
Really great stuff this week. I don't even know where to start. I think let me start with this feral thing. I have no idea what this is, but I've been seeing.
What is it? What is it?
Yeah, like I've been seeing a guy in a helmet. I guess he's called the mercenary. I don't know. I legitimately don't know what this is. Does anyone here know what the feral untamed mercenary thing is? At first I thought it was a Magus Wazir one who rings joint, but maybe not. D20.eth, I see you reacting. I feel like maybe you know something. If you want to come up and explain it. But yeah, anyway, that's a thing that's going on. Still don't know what it is. Oh wait, there he is. Hold on, let's see. I'm gonna wait for him to connect.
Hey guys, I have no idea
Hello?
what it is, so I've been seeing that.
Okay, awesome.
Also, Gank. Don't they have like a Gank rune? Similarly, I don't know what the Gank project is, but they had this really killer like SNES intro, and I noticed there's a little Easter egg that said "Insert one baby wizard," so I assume maybe that's a clue.
Yeah, no, yeah, I've seen that too, and that's another thing. I don't know what it is, but it looks interesting. Um, uh, there is something I do know what it is though, which is the Heroes of Cumberland, which looks like a whole new character set created by Maxwell. And they look gorgeous, I have to say. I was actually just talking to Maxwell in the DMs, and I basically begged him to put Cumberland on the Runiverse map because I don't know, I want it to be part of the Runiverse, and I think we've both agreed to put it somewhere in the Brown Wizard Delta, which is perfect because that's like very fertile farmland for these like veggie people to live. Maxwell, I don't know if you're here, but if you want to come up and say anything about your collection. Oh wait, there he is. He's got an ice cream cone as his PFP. Yeah, I'm loving it. Like again, if anything good comes out of the whole cucumber dog fiasco, like that was it. um, but yeah, and then speaking of putting things on the Runiverse map, Matto and Bread are creating the Penguin Capital. Matto, do you want to tell us anything about that?
Yeah, Penguin Capital is the location that I made when I was concepting out. I was concepting out my honorary warrior Fuyumi. She has like her little battle penguin that I'm so happy that you made that, by the way, and put it and made it to collection for other people. And then one thing that I noticed that is that there's a lot of warriors that have like the of penguins origin. Some of them seem like they're very antagonistic towards penguins, and so like it kind of strengthened the concept that I had because I originally had the concept that she like protects. Initially, it was like kind of like a huddle of penguins, but then that expanded out as I saw how many warriors were that were against penguins. I was like, okay, I think these penguins need more of like a home base that they can find safety in. So I worked out with Brad, and I told her my concept of it, and very thankful for her for creating a pixel art for that and making like a small preview of how Penguin Capital looks. And it's supposed to be like it's like an area that I imagine to be somewhere near the tundra or in the tundra. And I imagine that the tundra, it sounds like a very fierce name, so I imagine that there's lots of fierce enemies in there. Like so, I thought of like maybe like frost gnomes or like yetis and such. And aside from the warriors that are after the penguins, I imagine all these other creatures probably enjoyed like picking on the penguins as well and using them for like meat or whatever. So it's a nice little like fortified town or city that's made for the penguins. Obviously there's other warriors and other humans that live there as well. It's not just penguins, but penguin lovers can kind of like find safety there. It's surrounded by mountains, so that way it's a bit harder for anything to get in. And my warrior Fuyumi is one of the protectors of them, champions that anything tries to break their way in, she'll be there at the front line to help protect them. And in return, they get like there's tons of exotic fish that kind of live only in the area. So like they kind of like so it creates like another opportunity for maybe if any invaders don't want the penguins, maybe they want the fish that are found exclusively in that area. So there's a lot of protecting that they have to do. And yeah, I'm happy to expand out the area. I'm happy to create create a new area on the Runiverse map. I remember Elf was saying before how he wanted to encourage more people there's lots of areas on the map that are named, but there's tons of areas in between that aren't. And that's a great opportunity for us to, create lore around the areas and then, find places that we want to create stories for and build those out, and maybe other people want to join in as well. I've had some people who have DM'd me say, they have a penguin associated warrior that they'd like to join in on the fun, and ask me if I can include them in the lore. There's already been one warrior that has put out a wanted poster for penguins. I thought it was pretty funny. Apparently, a band of penguin bandits found their way into and stole her prized sword. And so she's a weaponless warrior. I found that extremely hilarious, and I saw them. I was going to incorporate that into my lore as well. There's definitely going to be a gang of bandit penguins that live in Penguin Capital as well, that go around pilfering weapons and any objects of value that they find.
Matto, I love it. That's so much fun. Like when you first suggested a penguin companion, I was like, damn it, penguins are not very warrior-like. But then I remembered that Batman movie where there was literally like penguins carrying around rockets on their backs.
Right. Yeah, I was doing the same thing. So like for instance, I'm glad that you named it Battle Penguin because like it gives them like a lot more opportunity to be more fierce. But like for my concept for the way that I have my companion penguin is that he similar to how my warrior uses a giant frozen tuna.
Mm-hmm.
He uses like frozen, like I guess you could say like sardine, any small kind of fish, and kind of like uses them as like kind of throwing knives. Like they have like short tips. So like stuff like that. Like you can definitely get creative with how you you want to use your companions and stuff. So, like even something that I'm sure people who have like ducks, they'll be able to find ways to make their duck extremely fierce.
Yep, totally.
Duck that has like metal feathers and like cuts you up with them.
I'm so glad that you're developing the northern area of the Runeverse. Because I mean, because like here's the thing, I have the whole map drawn. I just haven't like dropped like that far north area yet. So I mean, by all means, like keep dropping like Arctic lore, and you know it can really like shape that top part of the map.
Yeah, I was thinking that too. I noticed that when you expanded the map, you actually didn't include any of the Arctic areas yet. So I was like,
Yep.
okay, hey, it's right for the lore building. And I'm sure, like, I in my head, I kind of have like some of the areas mapped out, like the snow and the tundra and stuff, like near each other. But I'm sure, like, if later on you drop the map and it turns out they're like on opposite ends, like one conundrum I had was like, what if I'm creating lore for the tundra next to the expanse, and then it turns out that it's like a North Pole South Pole kind of deal where like the expanse is at the bottom of the map and the tundra is at the top. I figured that in a case like that, like I'm okay with like kind of going back and maybe like revising the lore like edits whatever, so we like more in tune with each other. But like at the same time, I don't have to marry myself to those concepts either. Like if I want to, I could have them next to each other, in my own stories I'm building.
Totally fair. I mean, I would say yeah. Like I'm glad we're both like you're willing to be flexible, but at the same time, I'm like totally willing to take cues from you for the North. So
Cool.
whatever you want to share with me, I'll incorporate it.
Awesome. I'll keep building out.
Sweet. And then Maxwell, do you want to come back to Cumberland for a minute? You there, Maxwell?
Tending to
Yeah, I'll be there in just a second. Hold on. My bad.
Okay.
As you can hear, the hot bars are getting rowdy in the background. Yes.
Cool. Yeah, I'll just call out a few other pieces of cult content. RussTheBus.eth with a commission by Nashitobi NFT. Just this beautiful little illustration of a soul. It's a new style that I haven't seen before, but I loved it as soon as I saw it. It's just gorgeous. And then Oz with another fantastic illustration of the Kobold Crossroad. And then there's a really funny one this week by Tyler at What's Good Ty with this really fun commission by Jafar Hussein. And the title is Not All Familiars Are Friends, Some Are Just Food. And it's got this wizard eating a ladybug. And it's so much fun.
It's shared in the pinned tweets, by the way, if you're looking for it.
Yeah.
Another way that you can find a lot of this cult content is Merlin has his tree wiki, which I posted a link for in the Secret Tower, that has all the cult content for the week. So check it out.
Yeah, speaking of Merlin, he was going to come up here and give an announcement.
So
yeah,
whenever you're ready, here,
is he here?
Here, request to speak. Yeah, I think so.
Oh, yeah. Whenever you're ready, Merlin, just come up.
I'm back, by the way.
What up, Maxwell?
If y'all want to talk about Cumberland a little bit.
We do.
Yeah, we do.
So, first of all, I'm just so happy and excited that y'all are supportive of this nonsense.
Hey, can you hear me?
We're supportive of lots of nonsense.
I'm excited to build out Cumberland actually on the Universe map now that that's a viable option. Hopefully to share some ridiculous vegetable creatures with everybody and ideally let people build their own stories from vegetable creatures. So, I mean, that's what the story's all about. So I'm here for the lore.
Yeah, I think it just fits really well because number one, there's already like a few veggie-headed wizards. Number two, it fits really well on the map.
I do.
And it's just
Maxwell,
I
we
don't
got
know.
a lot of noise coming through your line. If you want
Oh yeah, Maxwell, you got a lot of.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm outside right now. There's some trucks going by.
It's okay.
I'm doing my best.
Yeah, it's just and just number three, like your artwork is looking beautiful. So I can't wait to see this collection.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. It's like my first foray into pixel art, so I'm excited that it's going over well.
One of my favorite games that I used to play on NES was Princess Tomato in the Salad Kingdom. Did anyone else
sounds
play
incredible.
this game? Yeah, I love it.
I'll have to look that up. I haven't seen that game before.
Yeah, well, your art calls me back to it.
Yep.
Wonderful. Well, I'll let you get back to all the other stuff because I'm outside and making noise right now. But thanks for bringing me up.
Sure, yeah. Merlin, what's up, guy?
Hey, what's going on? Cumberland is going to be a tough act to follow, but I'll do my best here. So I also wanted to, if Waffle Talk's here, you can also request to come up too, because Waffle's been working on the game as well, which we actually are launching today. We just pushed the button like 20 minutes ago, and the Forgotten Worlds game is live. So you might have seen it in the comic book. If you go to the website forgottenworlds.xyz, we actually have a game to keep us busy before the game. And so, like me and Realize, we hired a freelance team to kind of put this together. I think a lot of people have already seen kind of the build. So we took Minecraft and then we layered on top the kind of the Runiverse or the secret tower area over the top of it. From a build standpoint, we built skins for all 10,000 wizards. So as soon as you go in the game, you'll see an owl on the bridge, and basically you can click that. You can type in a wizard number from 0 to 9999, and then there's a little button you can push, and you're good to go. Just, I guess, the basics of it. I mean, all the information's on that website, and then also Waffle and I will be in the Metaverse Magic channel on Discord. But the essential thing is you can play the Minecraft game, so survival, and then we layered on top of it basically an MMO where you can earn experience points from level 1 and level up from level 1 to 50. And basically, as you level up, you can learn more and more powerful spells. And sorry, that's my dog barking in the background. You can level up from 1 to 50 and basically learn magic. And you can also, there's two different worlds. There's a PvP world where you can fight each other. And then there's a co-op world, which I actually prefer, to just kind of work together in peace to build, fortresses and fight monsters and zombies, all that sort of stuff. So that's kind of the basics. I don't know if I left out anything, Waffle.
No. It's been fun working on it, and Merlin's got to take care of. But I'm just here. I'm just here to help.
Right, so we have a 1 month prize competition. So right now we have the Goblin as first prize. I think we're going to do prizes for 1 through 20 of the top players at the end of the month that have the most XP. And I was going to give out World Token, but apparently Microsoft just shut down NFT Worlds. So luckily it doesn't affect us. There was one little feature that we had that was NFT dependent, but it's not critical at all. So you can level up by fighting monsters, by mining, by chopping wood, really anything you want to do. Casting spells is another one where you can kind of move up. And there's a leaderboard, which you can find right off of that website. And you'll just be able to search yourself and what your position is on that leaderboard.
Amazing. I still can't believe you guys built the entire Runiverse in Minecraft. It seriously blows my mind. And every single character and all the souls, it's just a Herculean task.
We do have the souls. We haven't launched the souls yet. We still got to upload them, but probably next week we'll get all the souls in there. And then we also have all ponies coming too. And then a couple more surprises probably we'll do halfway through the month.
Amazing. They look so good. It's so fun. And it's so ridiculous that Minecraft and Microsoft is like not allowing NFTs within Minecraft. I mean, Microsoft really like missed the boat on mobile, right? You'll notice like Windows Phone exists, but it was definitely a Me Too product and never really got kind of the like penetration that it needed to like stay in front of mobile. So they hugely missed mobile. And then it just feels like they're making the exact same mistake on cryptocurrency, especially by like excluding it for something like Minecraft. So it's just, NFT World is a good team. I'm sure they'll figure it out, but that's just so disappointing. Well, but
it's a little silly.
Your work is amazing, and there's so much that we can, so much fun that we can have with our Wizzies for now. That's not NFT based. Matt,
and the last thing I'll say is just the fun thing is, we can there's a lot of plugins out there for all sorts of like crazy things like riding dragons and whatever. So if any of you guys in the community are kind of Minecraft aficionados and you have fun plugins or things that you've done before, just send us suggestions and we'll see if we can get it on the roadmap.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm really glad to see that you're still building out and that you're not really worried about this whole fiasco. I wonder how involved Microsoft is in this decision, because I posted an article that maybe 8 months ago or so, Microsoft announced that they were planning on integrating NFTs into Minecraft with Engine. And I don't know, I guess internally things can change, but I don't know how much that conversation really flowed through to Microsoft if Microsoft just recently announced that they're planning that. So it's very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, Bill Gates has been pretty outspoken against cryptocurrency. So, I mean, not that he's in charge day to day, but I'm just saying that's representative of the ethos and positioning from the top.
Very true.
Yeah, it sounds like the NFT Worlds team is going to either, I mean, they've already been in contact with Microsoft, so I think they're going to try to work from within. And then they said if they can't work that out, they're probably, build or acquire another kind of Minecraft clone. So I think they'll keep on keeping on.
Yeah, it might be better for them to be on an open source platform. There's plenty of voxel implementations, but it's hard to get that ecosystem. So
yeah,
but cool. Totally. Thank you for all the work that you've done. Yeah, people posted some links in the Secret Tower where folks can learn more about how to play.
Yeah, I'll be playing, so I'll see you guys on there.
Yeah, is it on now? Because I'm kind of confused. You launched this today, right?
Yeah, it's live. So the instructions website is forgottenworlds.xyz, and then inside there you'll see the actual server link. Mm-hmm. The server is forgottenworlds.hopto.org. HOPTO.
Mm-hmm. And today's the day that you're launching the season 2 for. That's correct, right?
Correct. Season 0. Yep. We just cleared the scoreboard and we reset the server. So go for it.
Yeah, awesome. It's open right now.
Thank you. I'll be trying it later tonight.
Cool.
You're a true wizard, Merlin.
And Waffle.
And Waffle, yes. Awesome. A few other things I wanted to mention. Did you guys see that Wagmi-san battle with the kaiju? That video. And it looks like the wizards came to help Wagmi-san.
That's great.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was really great. Wagmi-san was getting his ass kicked, but then the wizards came in at the last minute to help him. I don't know. It was a beautiful video.
So good. I'm constantly impressed by the quality and the rate of release of 10KTF. What they can do with those videos, it's so great.
Yeah. No, it's a fantastic project. And then
speaking of super high quality, I saw Shark Child's book. He has this. So you can visit sharkchild.com. And he has 5 different books. So one I bought is The Dark Verse from Passages of Revenants. And it's this black hardcover book. It's absolutely incredible. So I don't know if it's really, it's probably not as well known as it should be within the cult that Shark Child is how do you say it? That he's published a lot of books and has a bunch of fans for his writings pre-Forgotten Runes. So you definitely should take a look and support our very own.
Yeah. The cover of that book is just amazing.
It's so good.
Yep. Another piece of random content. I don't even know if you would call this cult content, but Tabitha the Marsh posted this hilarious. It looks like a picture of a whiteboard, a marker board, and it says notes on the first 30 minutes of Forgotten Runes Wizard Wednesday. And what really struck me about it, and Bear, you might appreciate this, is this big jumbled mess is basically what our deck looks like right now.
I'm working on it.
Yeah, I mean it's better now, but maybe last week. Yeah.
No, but there's 1,000 items on this thing, and it's how the hell do you organize all this shit and present it in a coherent, efficient, optimized way?
We met with some people this morning that are helping us with messaging, and they were like, "Okay, what's the one thing that you need to focus that you guys like want to get across?" And we're like, "Oh, well, we're doing this like really cool video game," and then we talk all about the video game and like all who invested in it and all the stuff we're doing. We're like, "Oh, we're also doing this TV show." We like talk about the TV show and who's involved. Oh, we're doing all this merch, and oh, we're doing all these tokens, and we have all these ideas for like on-chain games, and like, it was very
It was a
hard for us
trap.
it was a trap, yeah, because we just talked about a million different things, which we're doing all of them, and they're like, okay, well, you can't tell people that you're doing all those things. You need to pick one, and we were like, I didn't know which one to pick.
Well, and then just like to make it even more complex, like undergirding all of that is the fact that it's like all being built by the community, and just explaining that concept to like these legacy institutions is a huge challenge unto itself.
Yeah, well,
Um,
and so, I think we always deal with this is like, how do we succinctly talk about what we're doing? And back to that conversation that Dota was talking about, it's like, well, pick one. Well, if there was one thing I would have to like describe what we're doing is, we tweeted out today. It's like we're speed running, for I guess fantasy franchise. We're
exactly.
speed running the next Harry Potter. We're speed running the next Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
And so when you say things like that, when you say the word franchise, the whole concept of franchise is that you're not just doing one thing. The whole thing is like
Yep.
you're franchising. You're doing this, you're doing
Yes.
that, and it's this whole interconnected like universe of initiatives, which then on
Yes.
top of that is like amplified by the 4,000+ people that own the characters, then doing their piece of it. So it's like it's kind of this like unfair question. It's like, well, what is the one thing you want to talk about? And it's like, well, it's impossible. I can't talk about one thing. But we have to figure out. We have to get better. There's always ways to improve. We have to get better about messaging, and so we're working on it.
Well, we touched on this last week, but this is why I love the phrase "speed running a franchise" because yeah, the word franchise explains all that. But then when you put the word "speed running" in front of it, it sort of like tells the person. It's like they might hear franchise and they might think, okay, that's going to take you 20 years. But when you say we're speed running it, then we can like pitch like a 3 to 5 year plan. And then it's like, but how are you going to speed run it? And we're like, well, we decentralized it. And so, I mean, that's why I love that phrase, because it's actually really descriptive and accurate of what we're doing.
I agree, but then we said it to someone like 2 days ago, and they're like, I don't know what speed running is.
Yeah.
And I had to be like, no, like Mario, like these guys, they can beat like all of Mario in like 18 minutes or whatever. I don't know.
Dude,
like really fast.
That's probably going to confuse them even more. Like, what are you doing? Making a video game?
Yeah.
We're making a video game and a TV show and a comic
and merch and toys and everything. And we're speedrunning it. And NFTs.
We're hiring a controller, by the way. I posted a job post. If you're a controller or someone who's good, we have a job post. So yeah, you can follow up with me. If you're a financial controller and you want to be a part of Magic Machine, reach out.
Yes, come do our books because, well, I was going to say we're sick of it, but I never do it. It's really just Dota that does it.
Yeah, exactly. Because I do it and I'm sick of it / don't do it. So.
I think who's giving lore today? Is it Givahoot?
Someone is.
Okay, if you're giving lore today, just come up and speak. We've got a few minutes left.
I think that I also too didn't like the word franchise in the beginning. We had these kind of discussions in the beginning. It was like, ew, I don't want to call it a brand. I don't want to call it a franchise. We're like, we're doing storytelling, and we're like, feeling something that like franchise was too businessy, too corporate, too top down. But I think I don't have a better word for what we're doing. So franchise it is for now.
Yeah, well, just not to harp on this, but like when you're communicating to these legacy institutions, it's like you have to use words that they're familiar with. You can't just invent new words.
Yeah.
So anyway,
we brought up two speakers before. Small reads his lore. We also brought Givahoot reads their lore. Small Creeps came up, and hi, Small Creeps.
Hi, small creeps.
Yeah, I don't know.
Very
Small
Okay.
Creeps is,
He just wanted to say hi.
I like that.
yeah, he's,
I like that PFP though.
yeah, I do
Yeah,
too. But go ahead, give a hoot. The floor is yours.
Hey,
Give it, yes, yes. Welcome, give a hoot. Do you have a lore reading for us today?
I do. Happy Wizard Wednesday, everyone.
Thank you. Yes.
So this lore reading, some quick context. I know we don't have too much time, but some quick context. So the lore is going to be about Runes, the card game I'm working on. So hopefully people aren't sick about hearing about it yet. We just submitted a proposal to the DAO.
No, it's great.
Just submitted a proposal to the DAO, and I'm reading lore about it. Yeah, hopefully it's not too much, but
Take all the time you need.
cool. So just some real quick context. We were in the Runes server, and if anyone hasn't played yet, basically we're in like a public beta, and you can mint some cards for free and play the game, and there'll always be free mint cards. And so we're in the server, and who always puts, who always does lore so right and gives it like the kind of like the pedestal it deserves, is like, hey, so we're getting these free cards, is there any lore behind how we get these cards? It's like, crap, like I kind of have like some vague ideas but nothing concrete. And so I was like, this needs to happen. Lore is at the center of everything, so there needs to be a story. And so I basically went on a hunt, and Runes, according to the Runes lore, originates from like a brown hat village. And so I was like, I want to find a brown hat wizard that has like the ace in the hole prop. And it turns out there's actually only one. And so I go and look at the wizard, and it turns out that it's owned by the beloved Keshmar in our community. And so I reach out to Keshmar. I was like, hey, Keshmar, do you have this wizard? I want to use him for some lore. Can I do that? He's like, heck yes, I'd love to be involved. And so that evening, I just kind of get to typing, and I kind of whip up some lore, and I send it to him. He's like, holy crap, this is amazing. Like, we need to commission a piece of art for this. And when you say those words either out loud or in your mind, you have to think of Oz. So we reach out to Oz, and Oz is like, heck yes, let's do this. And so I actually just posted I just tweeted out the art, and so I just posted it. He finished it the other day, perfect timing. And so this lore is for Medium Apollo of the Cosmos, and yeah, so it's a bit about runes and kind of the role he plays in the runes lore. So here we go. Lore for Medium Apollo of the Cosmos. Runes is an ancient art, a game that to most seems to have always existed. There are a select few who remember its birth, but they keep this story to themselves as to not taint what the game has become. Medium Apollo of the Cosmos is not one of these ancient wizards, but he knows the most important thing about runes. It binds. The bonds created through shared experiences are some of the most powerful spells in the Runiverse. People sit down to play a game, but little do they know they are performing magic. They enchant the other, they enchant themselves. An invitation to play and the acceptance, sealed with a nod, handshake, a smile. Presenting yourself to another, coexisting in the same space, vulnerable. The flipping through the cards as you find your hand to play with. The positioning of the board in between the two players, a bridge. Placing the cards on the board, allowing a story to unfold, a story within a story. The resolution of the game, the acknowledgement of the victor, a celebration. And the departure, separate but now tethered by magic. Apollo knows this magic all too well. Growing up, he played runes with some of his best friends in various basements, kitchen tables, and local card shops. They spent countless hours sparring, laughing, and bonding. As Apollo grew up, naturally him and his friends played less as responsibilities blossomed. But this didn't sit right with him. What runes gave him and his friends growing up was lacking in the world around him. People walked past each other without recognizing anyone. They occupied the same space without really coexisting. They interacted, but those interactions were shallow, without meaning. And when they parted ways, nothing persisted to bind them. Feeling the weight of a world without magic, he walked to a park him and his friends would frequently play cards in during the hot summers. He sat down and with his head in his hands found himself lost, asking himself a question he didn't know the answer to. As he lifted his head, hoping to see the answer in the cosmos above him, he was greeted by a little girl standing next to him. Girl, up for a game? She reached out to him, and in her hand was a small pile of runes cards. He accepted. She gleefully sat down and placed the board in between them. The two played dozens of games. He flipped through the cards that he knew all too well, but felt like he hadn't seen in an eternity. They laughed and cheered each other on. He felt that feeling, the magic that he was missing. Girl, Apollo, the world needs people to bring it together. You don't have to live in a world without magic. Apollo, but how? The little girl smirked. She took a card out of a chest pocket and placed it face down on the table. Girl, you know what to do. A light breeze started to blow, just hard enough to push the card off the table. Apollo bent down to pick it up, but when he finally rose, she was gone. He looked at the card, and on it he found an image of himself. She was right. Apollo knew what he had to do. He traveled back to his childhood home and gathered all the runes cards that him and his friends used to play with. Now, whenever someone is looking for respite, craving a connection, or needing a touch of fun, Apollo is there with cards in hand. Apollo, up for a game? And that's it.
That's great, man.
Thank you.
I just love that there, people are bringing lore to Wizard Wednesday in so many different formats. I mean, this is the first time I heard like lore about like a game. It was great, man. I really loved it.
Thanks. Yeah. So basically, the way we're gonna work him in is he's gonna basically be kind of like the happy face, like the welcome brigade to runes, and whenever someone mints their first kind of beginner set, he's kind of gonna be there to kind of give them the cards, and so that's kind of how we work that in. But yeah, I'm glad you liked it. Hope everyone appreciated it, and yeah, it was super fun, and it was just like a super fun process because like I don't know, the cult provides, right? Like this was like a group effort, and from Keshmar being so down to kind of let me use his wizard for lore, and then he also commissioned the piece as well. So he funded the commission that Oz drew, and working with Oz is always a pleasure. And so it was kind of like a group effort, and it was just awesome.
That was also one of my favorite parts of the story is just like the teamwork in the beginning of it all. Maxwell Tez, I know you were looking for a brown wizard to incorporate into your Cumberland lore, so maybe just reach out to a cult member who's got a brown hat wizard. But yeah, I think we're out of time. Dota, Bear, you guys got anything left? Matto?
Nope, I'm good.
It's Wednesday.
It's Wednesday.
This has been Wizard Wednesday with Elf and Dota and Matto and Bear Snake and Give a Hoot and Merlin and Waffle Talk and D20. Channeling out, going out like dynamite. GN, everybody.
Bye.
GN.